when a man survive, and I learned pain only shit on my drive. I ain't scared of the dark no more. Walk through hell, kick open doors. Life tried hard for me on the floor. Now I stand 10 feet tall from war. Stand your ground. Don't back down. Through the fire, through the pain, fear won't ever again. Fear dies, fear. I ain't running from the pain no more. Storm in my chest, but I still wait. Kicking down every locked door. Fear dies, fear. I was built for the night so cold. World got dark, but I won't fall. Blood running through my soul. Fear only controls you if you kneel to it. War drums in my chest, hear that pound. In my blood when the weight slam down. Train for Valhalla, we don't crawl, we conquer. Built through pain, every day grow stronger. Take your crown. Kings are born when the weak fall down. Push to failure, then break through rage. Every rep another line on fades. That I load that war, kicking the gate like a northern storm. No soft men in the hall I raise, only wolf hearts, souls, born in blaze. Pain is a priest and a bar with scripture. Steel talks truth when the flesh starts to fracture. Sweat drip runes on the blood black floor. One more rip than 10 rips more. Pray we got be all out. Rip the heavens with a battle shout. Deadlift thunder, bench press ride. Build a kingdom on a savage path. When the lungs burn, breathe harder. When the legs shake, drive farther. Hear that war drum in your chest. That is war saying carry your best. War drums in my chest. Hear that pound. Dying in my blood when the weight slam down. Train for Valhalla, we don't crawl, we conquer. Built through pain, every day grow stronger. Get up, take your crown. Kings are born when the weak fall down. Mercy in the squad. I chase PRs like raids at dawn. Break gold limits, leave ghosts withdrawn. When the town speaks loud, I crush his jaw. Discipline coded and made to law. Bar bends heavy, soul bends never. Weakness dies when wolves join together. Hear the blades crash, that's fate splitting. Hear the heartbeat, Odin listening. Run till vision turns black with stars. That's where warriors find who they are. Not in comfort, not in ease. Legends rise when lungs can't breathe. Your crown. That I raise a storm. Make these flash of fall. Just like thunder, light like blaze. My battles, not my praise. War drums in my chest. Hear that pound. Iron in my blood when the weight slam down. Train for Valhalla, we don't crawl, we conquer. Built through pain, every day grow stronger. Build stronger. Live longer. Calling me home through the fire and snow. Voices of a no in the cold window. Shadows in the night, but the stars still glow. If I fall tonight, let the whole world know. Calling me home to the fire and snow. Voices of the north in the cold window. Shadows in the night, but the stars still glow. If I fall tonight, let the whole world know. Calling me home, goddamn. To the storm and the everything. The sky falls down and the river runs low. Hear my name and I want to know. Steel in the air when the long ships sail. Cold in the lungs when the night winds wail. Came from the frost where the brave don't fail. Every star got a story to tell. Drums and drums. Steel toe on the docks, all white on my jaw, black ship in the fog. We came for the war, cold wind on my nose, blood oath in the ring. Count me with the outlaws. I don't hear the king's lanterns in the longhouse. Burned down to a spark, I move like a blade cut through the pinewood dark. No soft words, no mercy, just teeth in the drum. Hear the longboats answer when the wolf pack comes. We were howling at dawn with blood on our hands, still standing tall while the whole world ran. Smoke in the sky and frost in our lungs, singing old war songs with our swords still drawn. And if this is the end, let it come right now. We'll meet it like wolves and never bow. Hear our voices rise through the northern storm. Still howling at dawn reborn. Night, the hills are ice on the spear tip. I spit the program while the whole line fits. Gold in the ring chest, bones in the snowbank. Name on the war drums when the iron doors clank. You ran from the banner, we ran to the gate. Back to the panic, back to the bay. Top of the thunder, here to the flame. I leave with the how you remember my name. Back from the shoreline, marking my way, I take what I want. Then I vanish and break. We were howling at dawn with blood on our heads. Still standing tall while the whole world red. Smoke in the sky and frost in our lungs, singing old war songs with our swords still drawn. And if this is the end, let it come right now. We'll meet it like wolves and never bow. Hear our voices rise through the northern storm. Still howling at dawn reborn. I still hold my ground. If the dead wake up, hear that same sound. One last charge, one last breath, one last toast before the deed. When the red sun hits, we don't flinch, we don't sleep. We were howling at dawn with blood on our hands, still standing tall while the whole world ran. Smoke in the sky and frost in our lungs, singing old war songs with our swords still drawn. This is the end, let it come right now. We'll meet it like wolves and never bow. Hear our voices rise through the northern storm. Still howling at dawn. House where the cold winds twist, fans of frost, eyes of flame, they carry the All-Father's name. Blood on the snow, blood on the stone, the walls on where the lost souls mourn. Carry and Frankie under the moon, the call is the battle, their song is the doom. Odin's wolves, fierce and free, they feast on the fallen beneath the tree. One for the spear, one for the crown, just let's shake the hollow ground. Ravens above, wolves below, the threats of fate and the gods they sow. The breath of war, the scent of fear, the echo of the beast that none can hear. Run through the frost, run through the flame, carry the whisper of Odin's name. Jerry and Frankie under the moon, their goal is the battle, their song is the doom. Odin's wolves, fierce and free, they feast on the fallen beneath the tree. Yeah. Shaman's trance, they rise, they rise. Through the smoke of fire, through the weeping skies, guardians of Valhalla's gates, chasing the winds of unyielding fate. Fangs drip with the meat of kings. In their growl, the world serpents sing. Where the black waves rise, fire in our blood, ice in our eyes. Where the cold winds roar, ravens above us, wolves on the shore. Every star is a star in the night, every breath is a battle cry. Old gods whisper through stone and flame, calling our blood by a warrior's name. We don't kneel, we don't run, we rise, with ancient fire in our eyes. Hear the drums below, hear the ravens cry. When the dawn will blow, our bloodline never dies. We are the Viking, forged in fire, born from tide. We are the sons still rising, still our hands, God by our side. Oh, let the mountains shake. Oh, let the old hearts wake. Through the storm, through the endless night, carry the Viking bloodline. We have walked where the red suns fall, heard the dead sing through the hall. No crown can break, no chain can bind. Thunder lives inside our bloodline. When the sea cries out in pain, we hear our fathers through the rain. From ash and snow, from bone and sky, we rise again, we never die. Hear the drums below, hear the ravens cry. When the night falls up, Alle føder gauter gysor Rasler vidrimer sonder grymer broni omi avira Spiller syder hørtøyder flotta til Gjør varma til halveri gamle Nåden jeg nåder Funder videre foder nåder Sig øyter, sig munder, sig bøder, sig døder Alle bøder, regnbroder, gjølbøder, vavbøder, boder, vallabøder, vavbøder, aurbarder, herjabøder, kvattmoder, leibrøder, gøllunger, gøllaner, kvederunger, gøndeler, aurginnar, nykarkjalar, Svagner, gøllner, gøllner, fornedolver, valeiger, bollverker, rigger, dekrer, svagner, gøndeler, I broke the chain the North put in my bones. No throne could hold me. I outgrew the cold. The wind said near. I answered with breath. I don't belong to gods that bargain with death. The fire won't die. I walked out alone where the ravens won't fly. Steal my shadow, no king in my blood. I carve my own name to the ice and the flood. No banner above me, no oath enough to bind. I bury the past in the back of my mind. They call it exile, I call it sight. When you lose the north, you learn how to fight. I never done, but they don't call me home. I see the gates, but I stand alone. No crown, no chain, no hand to hold. I am not breaking the ancient code. North, I'm bound to the sky. The roots that the old world died. I begin with the gods won't dream. I burned the map, I lost the way. No king, no god, just no king, no god. They sent the storm just to pull me back, but I walked through thunder without a track. Blood on the snow where the old names fell. I made my peace in the frozen hell. No más jala waiting, no feast, no light, just the echo of the my shadows, they carved in me. Every mark was a change I couldn't see. Now every step is a war I owe. Every breath is a war. High in the sky goes silver. Even the gods with a bright should will. What walks now is not their design. It's something mine. To the old time. I became what the gods won't free. Force myself from broken pain. No pain, no throne. Is a way holding tight. My love, ready to fight. Break the chains, no pain, no pain. No pain, no pain. No pain, no pain. Don't stop now. Breathe, let me show them how. No pain, no pain. No pain, no pain. Sky's black with rain, seas cold as stone. I hear the old father calling, but I walk this path alone. raised by thunder, storm and snow. My mother gave me fire and breath. My father taught me not to bow. Two black wings above my head, one for the left, one for the left. They were running across the sea, and every name awakens me. Beneath the mountain, there's a world beyond the flame. I'm holding fire. Storm and thunder, raised by the holy, away. Beyond the water, take my voice. No fire in my soul. I'm higher, remember me. I am holding on. Across my skin, but fear never entered. I wear my scars as sacred runes. I sing beneath the iron moon. My blade is on, my heart is stone. The road is dark and unknown. The dawn that lives on my bones. No shade, don't you blame my soul. Yes, you beneath the door. You're the one across the sky. If the night comes down to save me, I will meet it open night. I am holding water. Lord, storm and thunder. Raised by glory, bound away. Beyond the water is my voice. Through fire is my soul. On fire, remember me. I am holding fire. Then watches on the sky to make a circle where I ride. Dash to earth and flame to see you. Got to remember me. Mother and though it's me. Going iron at my feet. When my heart is crying, I will cross the northern tide. Black with rage, seas cold as stone. I hear the old father calling, but I want this I'm holding fire, one storm and thunder, raised by the
Own digital analyst had actually pushed back on the catfishing theory. He thought that if someone hijacked Christine's devices, there would be a time gap, like breathing room between her normal browsing and the explicit sexual conversation. Instead, he says they basically overlap. So his initial conclusion was that Christine was in control.
But isn't that what other investigators think shows the opposite? Like that it's not her?
Yes, and to police leadership, they think that this analyst crossed a line. And at the end of the day, data can show what the devices were doing, not who used them.
Right.
So that guy got reassigned, as did others who apparently clashed with the brass over this case. Now, Chief Davis says that this whole thing was blown out of proportion publicly, but multiple officers say that higher-ups pushed the catfishing theory before the evidence backed it up. The defense, it was textbook tunnel vision. And here's the weird kicker when it comes to digital data. There was a security code text sent to Christine's phone by the chat app that the Anastasia 9 account user Joe. That text was still in her messages. So if Brendan and Juliana were running the account, wouldn't they have deleted it? Then there were some ground rules that Anastasia 9 account set that don't really make a ton of sense for a frame job. No visible marks, no bodily fluids. If the goal is to lure a patsy, why bother with those boundaries? That only makes sense if Christine is behind it.
Or if they're trying to make it seem more legit.
I don't know. But strip everything away. And really, the most solid thing they have in this case against Brendan is Juliana, the woman who spent a year proclaiming her innocence and pledging loyalty to Brendan. To the defense, she had every reason to make up a story like this. She's miserable in jail. You're going to offer her time served if she gives up Brendan on a silver platter? That is a sweetheart deal. And the defense says, of course her account matches most of the evidence now because she got to read all of the discoveries. Basically, as Brendan's trial begins in January 2026, the defense's case boils down to this. The FetLife account was Christine. She was arranging these encounters for herself. Tragically, she got more than she bargained for with Joe, and Juliana is lying her way out of prison cell. Leverage
On Netflix, when they get here.
She'd been shopping her story to producers with Netflix ties, although she was holding out for more after they initially only offered her $10,000. And something like that appears to actually, by the way, still be in the works, even though her lawyer stopped her from signing anything before Brendan's trial. Now, meanwhile, you gotta remember, this whole time, like that this is going on, she's been in jail, they've been investigating. Brendan has barely said a word about what happened that day. So imagine the jolt in the courtroom when he takes his case. For decades, some cold cases have been reduced to files in cabinets, but not anymore. I'm Ashley Flowers, and me and my team on deck have been traveling across the country to report on these forgotten cases. And in some instances, it's resulted in these cases being solved after decades. Join me every Wednesday as we revive these stories one card at a time. Listen to the deck now, wherever you get your podcast. When Brendan gets on the stand, he tells the jury he loved Christine and was committed to his marriage. But they had problems, especially around sex. He wanted it more often, and he said that she wanted something very different from what he was into. He alleged that Christine had affairs, and at least one of them involved BDSM, and he knew that she was into that. On his end, most flings stayed casual. Then he and Juliana got involved in August 2022 when Christine and their daughter were out of town. But he made it clear to Juliana he's a married man. He wasn't going anywhere. By February 2023, it had pretty much run its course, he said. He says Juliana was jealous of Christine, didn't want to deal with it anymore, and told him that she was seeing other people.
But obviously they're ridiculous. Why did you let Christine's daughter call her mommy the night her mom died? Was killed?
It doesn't track. But according to Brendan, they were still off on the morning of February 24th, which he says started earlier than usual. He says he wanted to prep that morning for this big meeting tied to one of his IRS cases. If it went well, he might get a promotion. By the way, spot the lie. His supervisor testifies after him, but I'll give you the goods at the top so you have the right lens in which to view his testimony. What do you know? There was no meeting. The entire foundation of Brendan's story is BS. But anyway, Brendan says that Christine was awake in bed with her phone and laptop when he left around 7 that morning.
Another lie. Didn't you say her phone was turned off earlier that morning?
He has a response to that. He is claiming that she had it with her. He didn't know if she was actually doing anything on it.
Then why would she stab it downstairs in the bar part of the drawer?
It makes no sense. So Brendan says that he goes to McDonald's, got breakfast at the drive-thru, then went inside to use the restroom for more than 7 minutes, according to surveillance footage.
Because he's got to tell lie.
And that's when Juliana called. A strange man had just walked into their house. He tried Christine, got voicemail, headed home. He said that he thought he was probably going to be walking in on an affair, which is why he didn't call 911 initially. That's also why he says he used the basement door to get into the house. The front door would have been noisy, and he didn't want Christine to know that she was basically caught.
Or you didn't want Joe to get startled and stop and have her realize that this is all a setup.
Yes. Then he says while he was downstairs, the noises, which sounded sexual, changed. They started sounding forceful. So he drew his weapon and went upstairs to the bedroom where he found Christine naked on all fours. Kneeling behind her was a man who he later learned was Joe Ryan. And that guy was fully clothed, staring at him, and Christine warned him the man had a knife. He told Joe that he was law enforcement and to drop the knife. Joe told him to drop the gun. It was basically like a standoff. And at some point, Joe also asked to leave and asked Brendan to leave. Brendan told him that he was under arrest, and Brendan tells the jury that he was scared at this point. Never been more terrified in his life, and he just repeated that he wanted him to let her go. And then there's this moment where the attorney asks, and did he say anything to you? And I need you to hear what he said in his own words. So here is an excerpt from Brendan testifying at his trial from court TV.
He did. He told me that she was hers. That she was hers, and that she gave herself to me. And Christine kind of yelled, moaned at this point also. Okay, I'm sorry. You said she was hers. She was his. Sorry, she was his. Can you say the whole statement? He said that she was his, and that she gave herself to him, to me. What she gave herself to me is what he said. Okay. And I'm sorry, I didn't know what happened there. Christine kind of yelled or moaned and both, and think that she went to her left, my right, a little bit.
Is he fumbling on the stand because there is a lot on the line and he's recounting very high stress trauma moments? Possibly. But it's also hard to remember what words to use if it didn't really happen.
I guess the only glimpse I saw of him real was when he was talking about Christina's moment.
You know that must have been a real moment at some point, no matter who is holding it. Brendan says that when Christine moved, Joe lunged toward her with the knife. She cried out and spun away, landing on her stomach on the floor. When Joe brought the knife down toward her again, Brendan fired one shot at his head.
Wait, how many times was she stabbed?
Yeah, something's not adding up, right? She stabbed 6 times in the neck. What he just described is 2. And what was he doing? Just standing there with his service weapon drawn, watching his wife get stabbed again and again and again? Yeah. His explanation is that he was scared to shoot, afraid that he would miss Joe and hit Christine, but his timeline is also murky. Brendan says maybe Joe stabbed her before he got in the room, maybe it was after, he's not sure. He just knows that after he shot Joe, he moved the knife away from him, set his gun down, and knelt beside Christine. She was still alive. Her own training must have kicked in because she was already applying pressure to her wound. And she was talking to him, she said, telling him that she loved him.
But she's talking with 6 knife wounds to her.
Skyward break. She loved him and she saw it. That's what he says Juliana appeared. He said he was focused on Christine, covered in her blood, so he directed Juliana to call 911 and to keep an eye on Joe. Now, what he doesn't know at the time, he says, is that Juliana got his other gun out of the safe. She knew the code because it was the same one that they used for the front door. According to him, he is on the ground. Christine's telling him she loves him. When Joe hit him in the back, another shot rang out, and he says that he was stunned. But the way he tells it, he also thought Juliana may have saved his life. It's one of the reasons he fell in love with her, he says. But only after Christine died. That's when things got really serious. And look, you can pick apart every piece of this case. You can argue about the knife deal. You can question why certain evidence was never tested. You can debate whether Juliana's testimony is credible or self-serving. And Brendan's defense gave the jury reasons to do all of that. But even if you set aside every contested detail, every he said, she said, there is one thing that is hard to explain away, and it takes us right back to where the story started. That 15-minute gap between 911 calls. Christine had a blood clotting disorder that made her bruise easily and bleed more than an average person. Which means 2 things. 1, she would never have consented to a violent knife play. The risk of uncontrollable bleeding was too high, and she knew that about bone marking. And 2, once she was stabbed, she bled fast and hard. Prosecutors point out that Brendan knew that those 15 minutes weren't chaos or panic or confusion. It was the time he needed to stage the scene and to make sure that by the time help arrived, Christine couldn't tell anyone what really happened, and she wouldn't make it. Now, Brendan says that he thought Juliana made the first 911 call on her own from the basement while he was already upstairs. and that the groaning sound on the line wasn't Joe dying, it was the family dog. And they say that if the moan was the dog and not a dying man, then the whole theory that Joe was already mortally wounded while they spent that time staging, they say that falls apart. But the jury isn't buying. They're out for nearly 9 hours over 2 days. And after that, Brendan Banfield is found guilty on all counts. According to NBC4 Washington reporter Drew Wilder, Brendan's attorney tried to have the verdict tossed, but the judge didn't go for it. And on June 5th, he was sentenced to a mandatory term of life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge told Brendan that his actions were driven by deep, inherent evil, the kind of calculating, remorseless evil she'd only seen a couple of times before this in her 18 years on the bench. And she reminded him that he would have been facing the death penalty had Virginia not abolished it just a few short years ago. This case may be closed, but a crime like this will have ripple effects for a lifetime. And I never want people to forget the little girl at the center of all of this. Christine's daughter had lost her mother and now her father. And the pain that she'll have to reckon with one day is something that people return to again and again at Brendan's sentencing, including Christine's sister, Danielle.
She will eventually come to terms with the fact that her father, the person who was meant to protect her above all else, used her to put her directly in harm's way.
Now the little girl is at the center of a new legal battle. It appears that Brendan's mother and Christine's family are fighting over custody of her. Meanwhile, a wrongful death suit filed on Christine's behalf is pending. So much of the story has been about the plot, the legalities, the lies, and the people who did this. And Christine and Joe aren't just names in a case file, they're people. Christine has an infectious laugh, a huge smile, and she loves the simple stuff. Her family's Italian food traditions, 90s boy bands, but more than anything, she loved her daughter. She was warm and kind, the type who made others feel comfortable, and she was honest. So when Brendan tried to recast her as someone else, her family knew better.
As Christine's sister, I didn't just lose her. I had to sit and listen to a version of her that did not exist. I knew her in a way that she never could. I knew her honesty, her compassion, her refusal to live with secrets. Hearing an attempt to rewrite her life and her character felt like losing her all over again.
Brendan told our reporter Nina that he was goofy and loyal, a reliable friend and a deeply compassionate guy, the type of person who did the right thing even when no one was watching.
And it always, I feel like that he wanted to off the time story.
Well, hey, so, actually, that didn't happen. Prosecutors recommended it as promised, but in a huge win for this case, the judge decided Juliana deserves maximum, which was 10 years. And at her sentencing, and again at Brendan's, Joe's mom and aunt spoke about the son and nephew that they lost, the rock of the family, a guy who went out of his way to rescue old and injured dogs. They say that Joe wasn't only murdered in that bedroom. His character was assassinated over and over again. Every time that Brendan and Juliana lied about what happened. Here's his aunt saying himself.
He didn't just take Joe and Christine from us. He tried to erase the truth of who they were. And in doing so, inflicted further harm on the people who loved them.
They're right. Because what Brendan did, what Juliana helped him do, wasn't just about saving themselves. They were selling a story where they were the heroes. That every hero needs a villain. So Joe became the violent predator, and Christine became the immoral, cheating wife who brought this on herself. There is zero indication any of that is true. But it's what Brendan continues to tell the world about Joe and about his own wife, the mother of the child both he and Juliana claimed to love so much. And for what? So Brendan could dodge a child support check, so he could control everything and hold on to the house, the image, the lifestyle that he wanted to keep, while he banged anyone who would give him a chance? All told, Christine and Brendan were together for nearly 2 decades. Like after that much time, you shouldn't have to look over your shoulder or question your partner's every move. And I don't know what the red flag was. I don't know what the warning sign was that something like this was even possible. Christine's sister said that she's replayed every moment looking for something that she missed. But Brendan hid so much. She doesn't think that anyone really knew him. And during our recording, we kept hearing the same word to describe Brendan. Narcissist. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to try and diagnose a man that I've never met. But it came up so much that it's worth taking a minute to talk about narcissistic abuse. Advocates often describe it as a pattern of emotional and psychological mistreatment that can include gaslighting, blame shifting, constant criticism, humiliation, isolation, and more. The through line is control, like wearing down another person's confidence, their independence, and even their sense of what is real. We don't know if that's what Christine was dealing with. Like, obviously, Brendan was unfaithful, but that doesn't tell us how he treated her in the ordinary moments of their marriage. What I do know is that a person tells you who they are through their actions. So listen to them. Words can get distracting. You should feel loved and appreciated. And a person's relationship with themselves is like any other. Like, what you feed grows. Brendan fed his own ego again and again. And when that's the trade someone keeps making, when hurting the people closest to them stops being the line that they won't cross, the next line gets easier to cross, and then the next, and then the next. So for our Crime Junkies listening, above all else, remember that you are valuable, you are not to blame, and you deserve to be really loved. Before we wrap up, I want to share something special happening with the Crime Junkies fan club this month. One of the things we're most proud of is that by being members, our fan club helps to support meaningful causes all year long. And this year, we're making an even bigger impact together. For every eligible new or reactivated Crime Junkies fan club membership purchased during the month of June, Audio Chuck is donating $10 to Time Out Youth, up to a total of $20,000. That means every qualifying membership helps contribute $10 to an organization doing incredible work. Time Out Youth's mission is to support LGBTQ+ youth by offering vital programs, fostering unconditional acceptance, and creating safe spaces for self-expression through leadership, community support, and advocacy. If you've been thinking about joining the Crime Junkie fan club to access all the benefits, now is a great time to join and make an impact. You can sign up using the link in our show notes. And if you'd like to learn more about Time Out Youth and the impact they're making, please link their website as well. You can find all the source material for this episode on our website, crimejunkies.com. And you can follow us on Instagram at crimejunkies. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Crime Junkie is an Audio Chuck production. I give Chuck the first. Okay, Crime Junkies, you know I absolutely love a twist and a turn, especially when it comes to people who turn out to be someone they're not. That's why I've been obsessed with the podcast Chameleon. Every Thursday, host Josh Green deep dives into scams so bizarre, it will leave you wondering, how did he get away with that? It is truly one of my favorite podcasts right now, and I've been listening for years. I think you'll love it too. Listen to Chameleon wherever you get your podcasts.
I mean, County 911 is emergency. Be out there on Perry Road. Francisco looks like she's been shot. Been shot going up the road. We didn't know what to talk about it. Is she be out? She's breathing out. She's not breathing. It don't look like her. All right. I have deputies on the way. We have a couple more. Okay, sir? Okay, please, thank you.
Minutes after this 911 call comes in, Columbiana County Sheriff's officers arrive at the home of the victim. 50-year-old high school math teacher Michelle Long. Family members are already gathered around Michelle's truck, which is parked in front of her mailbox. Inside, Michelle's bloody body is slumped over in the driver's seat. There, let me see there. See there, she's still breathing. She's still breathing. They're also you guys know. No, their mom or her boyfriend. Okay. Exactly how it's going. You guys want to do it? I'll be your dad's not here. Once Michelle's family is out of earshot, officers assess the situation. Yeah, I believe she's deceased. I don't believe it was self-inflicted. Paramedics arrive and pronounce Michelle dead at the scene. She suffered multiple gunshot wounds, including at least one to her head. So, she was shot near the driver's side window. So she pulls up. So just from what I've heard. Okay. So she put it in reverse to back in, and then so somebody. It's like Albert through her head. Oh, I do the other window. And in front of the door looked like a struggle. Right, start. We need to find the casing. You guys back up. While officers secure the scene, other investigators gather information from Michelle's sister Sarah Lewis and her boyfriend, who made the call to 911. So you were the first here with who was that man?
Robert Morris.
Sarah tells officers that around 9 p.m., her mother Karen called her in a panic. Michelle was scheduled to pick up her son at 8 p.m. at his father's house, but she never showed. Karen tried calling Michelle several times, but Michelle never answered. She decided to pick up her grandson herself, and on the way there, she called Sarah and told her what was going on.
That's not like my sister not to pick her son up. That's very out of character for her. So I jumped in my car in my slippers, and I got here. I pulled up, and I saw her truck sitting just as it is, right there. And the lights were on.
We put the stuff on the wheel. It's still sitting there. The back of the
window was busted out.
Is there anyone out there?
No. I ran up to the door and I was pounding on it, screaming out. I couldn't see there. I was pounding. I went to the other side. I couldn't see her. I was pounding and I saw the other hole because I thought maybe there was a rock, and then I saw the other hole, so I know it was a gunshot, and they shot her. And then I was hearing, and so then I looked at her with a broken leg, and I saw her.
Who else was
Son. Her ex-husband, they're going through divorce right now. Father, he's on his way here. Bill Long.
As they're talking, Bill Long arrives on scene.
How are we doing here, sir? Deputy James. How are we doing, sir? Deputy James. Your name? Okay, just stay right here for me. Okay, well, I have a few questions for you. We're under medical, as you can see that right here. If you have some ID, I would like that. Give it to dispatch and head over here in just a minute. We're asking questions. There's a lot going on right now.
But Bill ignores the officer's request.
He's in the house. He's fine.
Meanwhile, officers continue speaking with Michelle's sister.
Has there been any problems with anybody lately? Let's start with that first question. Sorry to bring it up.
Police learned that for the past several years, Bill and Michelle have been embroiled in a nasty divorce. With that information, an officer immediately pulled Bill aside to question him. Again, these questions are the following page. We just got here a little while ago. We're trying to make head and tails of what the voice is. You understand the prices I read. I was just going to ask you, like, the basic question, but the last time you saw her, talk to her, and, you know, you're not giving them up at school, she walked out. It turns out Michelle taught at the same high school her son attends. So that was earlier today? What, who called you about coming here, like, who notified you? Well, if you wanted a statement, that's fine. In addition to his lack of cooperation, the officer notices Bill doesn't seem upset about Michelle's death. To stay here, just for a little while longer. Yeah, wait the car. You don't know anything about Christianity. It's a service of other people. Did you guys have anything like that? We don't get along. You and her, because you're getting divorced, correct? With that, Bill's done talking. Has loaded up, correct? Yeah. He has loaded up. So they don't get along. So he's the number one suspect, obviously. Bill collects his son and prepares to leave the scene until police spot a firearm inside his truck. He's on everything's going on. You're towing the vehicle. Towing the vehicle. And we're not taking a firearm right now. We're going to secure it. Secure it. That obviously we're airing outside box at this point. Police also seize his cell phone. As Michelle's body is removed from the scene and transported to the medical examiner's office, officers go door to door to see if any of Michelle's neighbors saw or witnessed anything suspicious.
Yeah, so if you want to write a statement. Yeah. Okay.
Gentleman here lives in this house. Okay. And what did you say, 5:45? 6, I heard 2 bullets. I went, who did he shoot shotguns at this time? And I looked, came out, I looked, the lights were blinking and everything, and I thought, what's been the injured for?
So you're saying at 5:45 p.m.?
Yeah, it'll be 5.
Okay.
5:45.
Sure.
5:40, 5:45, right in that area. So I heard 2 booms. I looked at my watch, and that's what it said. I got up, went to the window, and I said, well, neighbor got me the engine. Blinkers were flashing and everything. I thought, well, they're going to get help or something. I never even thought to walk down and take a look.
Based on the neighbors' statements, police surmise the shooting took place around 5:45 p.m. But oddly, despite searching for hours, they're unable to locate any bullet casings around the crime scene. The next morning, the medical examiner performs Michelle's autopsy. In his report, he says Michelle was shot a total of 5 times. To detectives, this looks like overkill, which means the motive behind Michelle's murder was likely personal. And when officers sit down with Michelle's sister Sarah to get more insight into Michelle's life, she says the moment she discovered her sister's dead body, she knew exactly who was responsible.
And I was screaming, he murdered her.
Who's he? What made you think it was Bill?
He's threatened to kill her. In the past, he was intoxicated at the time, and I do have to say he said that he did apologize to my sister for saying that, but it was the last straw that she knew that he was changing and not for the best.
How so?
Very angry, very volatile. I mean, the relationship, you could see just how he would treat her. He made her cry.
And Michelle and Bill were married. Is that right?
Yes.
How long were they married?
20 years.
And they just got recently divorced.
Yes.
One
August 1st it was finalized
of this year.
of this year.
Sarah says from the moment Michelle filed for divorce in 2022, Bill's animosity towards her amplified. Things got even worse when a judge ordered Bill to pay Michelle $100,000 as part of their divorce settlement.
And he made his ruling, and Bill was supposed to pay her, get everything signed over and pay her the $100,000 within like a week. And well, he had 2 weeks to contest, you know, what the judgment was, and then after that, everything would have been owed. And then the very last day, he could have contested the findings. He contested, which then held everything, right? To okay, you're still then paying what you're paying, but he put paying the house payment, he put paying everything. He was still supposed to be paying all these other things because he ended the he contested a divorce, and none of that really, it was all really all over the place. Bill is not himself. He really could have gone off the deep end a long time.
What makes you say that? Also, what changed in his behavior?
It's not so much what has changed, it's more what's intensified. Bill has always been a bit hot-headed. If you cross me, I'll cross you. And his behaviors with my sister, like putting her down for the past 2 years, have steadily increased. Verbally. It was just so hurtful to hear it. I mean, one time I was just sitting here crying, just hearing how you say,
What were you
you stupid, you can't even take care of anything, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to do anything. And then he would start, when it escalated, he started bringing things into my she just died.
Michelle's mother, Karen, corroborates Sarah's description of Bill and Michelle's toxic relationship.
What kind of relationship did Michelle and Bill have?
The nicest word is tough.
She says things turned really dark in 2016 when Bill and Michelle suffered a devastating loss. Their oldest son, Jacob, died by suicide.
Yeah.
Was that a turning point in their marriage?
Well, I don't know that it was. It helped.
It didn't help their relationship,
No.
obviously. Were things rocky between Michelle and Bill prior to that?
I think always.
Okay.
Karen says after Michelle filed for divorce, she tried to keep things civil.
She didn't want to go to court. She wanted to settle, what do you call it, dissolution.
Disillusionment.
And so she worked out an agreement, and Bill didn't agree with it. Of course, I looked at it and I said, well, you're kind of giving him everything. You're kind of forgetting yourself. But he wouldn't agree with that. He would not agree. Disagreed on everything. And I kept saying, gosh, where's his mind? Because he's not thinking. If you go to court, he's losing. You know? But he's not going to listen to it.
Right.
And so, anyway, they ended up going to court.
Anything else you want to tell us? you think of?
No, that's not just from the right person. I don't want it. I don't want it to be my son. Because
You think he's capable of it?
in my heart, I'm going to say no. In my head, it's possibility.
What would she say?
Because he's angry. He's been hurt. He's angry. And as many times as he tried not agreeing on any of it, just vindictiveness, I see.
Michelle's family gives detectives handwritten letters that Michelle wrote to Bill. In one of the letters, Michelle expresses her heartbreak over Bill's violent threats. Michelle's colleagues say she confided in them about these threats too.
She shared with me last year that he held a gun to her, told him toward the end of her life. I had expressed to another coworker at the time that I was scared he was going to kill it.
At the time, she was going through a divorce with Bill. And she was telling me some of the things that were going on with the divorce. The worst thing that she ever mentioned about Bill was, and again, this was in the middle of the proceedings. They had gone to dinner. They went to a dinner, and at the time, Bill had, according to Michelle, had promised to stop drinking. Well, they went to the restaurant, and I guess he put on this big scene and said something like, "I'm going to kill you." It's something along those lines. There should be an audio recording of that. She told me she had made a tape of that she was going to give to her attorney.
Michelle's attorney provides police with the recording from her cell phone. In the video, Bill berates her in front of their son.
Perfect.
Because you're Jesus, not me.
On the drive home from the restaurant, Bill continues to berate Michelle, and things escalate. For detectives, after hearing this recording, there's no doubt Bill is their primary suspect. But now it's up to them to prove he pulled the trigger. The next day, police obtain a search warrant for Bill's residence and seize several items, including multiple electronics, more firearms, and boxes of ammunition. Bill is at home when the warrant is served. Once again, he declines to speak with police. He seems more concerned with getting his white truck back more than anything else. But the actual owner of the house, Bill's girlfriend of 2 years, Leanne, does agree to talk.
Do you know any of the details about Bill and Michelle's relationship?
Not when they were together. I mean, I kind of tried to stay out of it, but I mean, it's common knowledge that it was a messy divorce.
Did you ever make any threats to Michelle?
No, not towards her. I mean, that's the thing I've literally heard him say is he dies of ass cancer. But as far as never in a million years did it cross my mind that he's actually going to go kill himself.
Did you ask Bill if he did it?
I did.
What did he say?
He said, "What kind of person do you think I am?"
Police shift their focus to Bill's timeline and whereabouts on the day of Michelle's murder.
We understand your day on Wednesday, November 29th.
All woke up at 4 when he was leaving for work.